Hello and welcome to the Living Force, everyone. Happy Monday evening. I am here. I am lit well. I have new glasses that block blue light, and I am Eric Eilerson, one of your hosts. And with me, as always, are the very tired doctors. We have Dr. Corey Helton. What's up, man?
What is cracking? What's cracking? Wes, show me my camera. What are you doing?
Oh, and also here is Dr. Charles Henkel. Hello, sir.
Hey, I am also lit well.
That is so good. I'm so glad.
Charles is
And
wasted.
the fourth lit companion, our man behind the keys, Wes Jenkins. Hello.
Hey guys, I'm sorry you had to hear Corey scold me there for a second.
Really
Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you, man.
That's 2 demerits, Wes. 1 more and you're out.
We are like a private school in that way. We also, in our Twitch chat, again, every Monday night, we are live at twitch.tv/utini_US. We have Charizard, the dragon Pokemon itself, is here. We also have Meg Dowell, Jared Mays. We had Emma's here, Cheryl's here, Alex is here, and Jared commented that he has a shirt that I'm wearing, my Last Jedi shirt. It's a great shirt. I think I got it at Target. Very happy about that. Everyone, we are here tonight to talk about all things pilots, starships. If y'all haven't noticed, we have a lot of pilot stuff coming up in Star Wars right now. Just today, we got a very big announcement regarding that, which we'll talk about in a second. And coming up later at the end of this month, we have a new book that's all about pilots, Shadowfall by Alexander Freed. So we're going to get talking about all that stuff later on. Before we do, though, if you are someone that only listens to this audio podcast, that's fine. We miss you on Mondays, but it's fine. It's okay. If you're listening to this on Friday, though, that would be Friday, June 19th, which is Juneteenth. So happy Juneteenth to everyone. If you aren't familiar with Juneteenth, this is the day in 1865 when the last of the slaves in Texas found out they were free. Almost 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, they heard they were free in 1865. So it's kind of like a real big Independence Day. So happy Juneteenth, everyone, as you are celebrating today. Back to Monday now. Back to the live show. Corey,
Monday.
Charles, Wes, how are you guys? How is your week going?
Dude, I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation for the whole week. It's going to be great. So I'm feeling good. Charles is shaking his head.
I was going to say, like, I think, is that the reason, Charles, you've had the week you've had is because Corey took all the time off?
Yes,
Probably.
I'm actually, I just drive to Tennessee and cover all of Corey's shifts in addition to my own.
Oh, my God.
not do that.
That's
But it's not
That's
going to be
wild.
it's not going to be much of a vacation. I'm having my flooring replaced next week, so that's not going to be fun. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, man, you have to let a person into your house,
Yeah, they're going to
and
just
then you got to let them out of your house. Charles, it's just like being at the hospital.
Pretty much.
Well, I'm sorry, Corey, that you have to go through all that hardship. Charles, I'm sorry that you actually have had a long week. I'm hanging in there. Again, a lot of the same social anxieties and pressures are going on. If you're listening to this far in the future, we are still in 2020 at the point where a lot of stuff's going on. We got a lot of COVID spikes going on. The Black Lives Matter protests are still in full swing. Much support and love to everyone out there. But we're going to give you guys some Star Wars to kind of make your week a little better, pump you up a little bit, and see what we can do here. So first bit of news, though. Big Star Wars news today, everyone. We finally got the freaking email we've been waiting for 3 months that Star Wars Celebration is canceled.
Yes. It's a
Good.
mix of disappointment, but also like kind of relief in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know. We were all really nervous about this. Like, I didn't know that I wanted to go hang out with 100,000 people in a really tight, confined space. Did you guys?
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of it. Is like I was so excited, one, to meet you guys physically, which, as I remind everyone, we've never done. But also like to meet everyone in this community and to see all the panels and see the news. But the constant fear of COVID being in the back of the mind throughout the whole thing would have been freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So good on Lucasfilm and Star Wars for pushing it to 2022. Next year is going to be the D23 Expo. So 2 years from August, we'll have Celebration.
which feels like a really long way. But I mean, we were talking about this a lot because we applied for a lot of stuff this year, right? So like you, Tina, we applied for both the fan booth, the podcast stage. We applied for a number of stuff this year, and we're really just now at the point of legitimization, maybe. Like we have good numbers on our site, we have good numbers in our podcast. Like we're finally starting to be recognized by the Star Wars community in general. So, by 2022, I think we'll have plenty of time to like really have video content rolled out and be kind of a leader in this space, I think. So, I'm happy about that from a business perspective because I want to be there. I want to participate. I want to have a cool booth and do cool stuff. And 2022, man. It's going to be – I'm going to have a big fat signing bonus from because me and Charles will both apply for real jobs that year, so we'll have a big fat signing bonus hopefully, and we'll just blow it all in celebration. It'll be great.
Absolutely. You heard it here first. Every UTD member gets their flight paid for. All right, great. So we have it recorded. All y'all in the chat know that just happened. Hold Corey to that in the future. But we are very excited to see everyone, and later on this year, who knows what's going to happen. There's going to be virtual stuff that is official or non-official. I'm sure we have months and months to figure all that out, so stay tuned. As a reminder, if you already had a ticket to Star Wars Celebration, you can either transfer your ticket to the future Celebration 2022, or you can get a refund, and all of that stuff goes live June 22nd. So if you freaked out, immediately went to StarWars.com or StarWarsCelebration.com and tried to figure out how to get your money back, June 22nd is the day all that starts. I'm sure the site will crash immediately. So breathe. We got 2 years,
Breathe.
We'll be fine.
Yes.
Now, that was the bad news today, the mixed news. Let's go to the unequivocally good news that we got today, which was this morning, a bunch of us watched it live together. We got the first trailer for Star Wars Squadrons. Yo.
Yep.
We didn't know that this existed. Last week we did a show, and today it's confirmed. It's a trailer, and it's coming out October 2nd. That's ridiculous. I love that so much. What'd you guys think about the trailer this morning?
I was super impressed with the trailer. Like, I mean, it looks like it's definitely the same engine of Battlefront, right? Like the graphics look identical to Battlefront. Like it looks like a continuation of the campaign honestly.
Yeah, it's by EA and Motive. So EA DICE made Battlefront 2, and then EA Motive is the company that made this, which used to be BioWare Montreal, which is the company behind Mass Effect Andromeda and some other games. So based on your feelings on Mass Effect Andromeda, who knows how the story will be for this, but they did really impress that it's going to be a lot of multiplayer stuff. And like Corey, Charles, Wes, all our gaming guys, I can't wait to get in a squad and just play squad-based X-Wing stuff with you guys.
I know. Me too, man.
Seriously.
I mean, some of the like graphics like look incredible. Like I just pulled up some of the artwork that they're showing here. Like this looks absolutely nuts. Like just the marketing leading up to this game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a huge throwback to the old Rogue Squadron games, like which were so ahead of their time, if we're being honest. Like that was a lot of fun, so I'm excited.
Well, and they've said this is all going to be a first-person game too. Like speaking of those Rogue Squadron games, right? It's all first-person stuff. Mm-hmm. You can customize your ship, your decals, your pilot, which I'm a sucker for any customizable cosmetic stuff. That is my favorite. I can't wait to see what that looks like. So a couple specifics about that game. If you hadn't seen the trailer yet, stop this podcast right now. Unless you're live, then you made your decision. Then you stay here with us and hang out till we're done. But if you're listening, go check out that trailer right now and see a few things. One, they've confirmed there will be 5 versus 5 dogfights, as well as other kind of objective-based multiplayer stuff. Looking at the chat right now, we got Emma and Adam, 2 of our favorite Battlefront players, saying that one, Corey, you got to start practicing your Starfighter mode.
Oh my gosh, I hate Starfighter mode so much, guys. I suck at it. So the whole time I was watching the trailer, it was just the back of my mind. I'm like, damn, I'm really eating my words now because I hated Starfighter. I suck at it, man. So bad at it.
You got to practice though, and then we got to figure out who's got to be what ship. But we're gonna definitely have you in there, Adam. our Australian buddy who's in the lab right now is hanging out, and he says, "Who wants to carry me in squad play?" And buddy, we got you. Or we'll all be bad, and won't that be fun? Because also I want to say we have been pretty segmented in Utini Gaming as PlayStation users, PC users, Xbox users. This has been confirmed that they have cross-play gaming on this game. Now, I don't know if that just means between Xbox PC, or if it means between Xbox and PlayStation. But if we can bring all the Utini members together, that'd be great. And talking to Jared, also in the chat, our Legends Look Back buddy, who just had an episode released today. He says, let's hope it has Corin Horn.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
You know who it looked like was in the trailer? I was getting mad Lost Stars vibes when it was at the beginning with the guy and the girl, except it was like roles reversed. It looked like Thane in the TIE fighter and kind of Sienna that was in the X-Wing.
It did to me too. I also noticed that.
Absolutely. And they have confirmed this is in the New Republic and Empire era. So this is post Endor. I would guess it's going to be post Jakku. So it's kind of like the Alphabet Squadron-y place. I think that would be really fun. But speaking of people in the trailer, y'all, we had a lot of new faces, but we had two very important returning faces in Harrison Dula and Wedge Antilles.
Yes.
In a video game as characters.
I know, which Hera's not been like realized in anything else except for Rebels, so that's pretty cool. Actually, I don't think any of the characters from Rebels have been realized anywhere else.
She's like the Freemaker adventures, and like some books, but not like this is like a quote unquote live action Hera in a way.
Yeah, it is in a lot of ways, and I wonder if we will see. Some expanded universe stuff leading up to this game. I mean, we got some stuff we got some comics for. What came out last year? Fallen Order. We got some comics for Fallen Order, and we got books for the Battlefront game. So I wonder if we will see something like that for this. That would be pretty cool for sure.
Well, it's funny you asked that, Corey, because in that trailer as well, and in some of the articles about it, like on IGN, Kotaku, things like that, they mentioned that the squadron for the New Republic is Vanguard Squadron, which is the squadron that Harrison Dula leads from the Lodestar in Alphabet Squadron. So definitely some EU ties there.
For sure.
In the chat here, Cheryl, she just asked, is that stuff you can live stream on Twitch? Because she doesn't play that stuff, but she'll watch us play. And I think we gotta live stream on Twitch some UTD plays Star Wars Squadrons.
I mean, actually, we haven't really talked about this much on the show. This might be a good time to go ahead and reveal some of our plans for that, Eric.
That's a great idea. Why have an outline? Just go for it.
Yeah, just
fine. I don't
screw
care.
the outline. I'm off script. You know, I
You don't
started
read
this
it
company.
anyway.
I don't read it anyway. Yeah. So, guys, we actually have talked a lot about this, and we want to start doing some like Star Wars gaming, like just as a community. We already play. We have a good little squad that we play a lot of Battlefront with, and it wouldn't really be that hard for us to start streaming it. So we're gonna start like coming in the next couple of weeks, maybe by mid-July. We're gonna start doing like Utini Star Wars game nights, like once a week, where we get together and play basically any Star Wars game, from KOTOR to the original Battlefront. Maybe we can even rig up some emulators or something, play the old Rogue Squadron. That would be fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. So we will certainly play some stuff like Squadrons. So yeah, game nights are coming soon. It's definitely on our radar. We're trying to get a little more into Twitch, and you know, Twitch is a gaming platform, right? So we all play some Star Wars games. We thought it might be fun to try to do that. So we'll see.
Absolutely. And you can look forward to that coming October 2nd. That's the release date for this game. You can pre-order it now. You get some cosmetic bonuses, so you know I did it already. And it's going to be a cool $40, less than a regular game, which makes me think the campaign will be pretty small, I'd say. And on Thursday, so if you're listening to this in audio, you'll already know about this, that there's going to be some gameplay revealed at EA Play. The main kind of, I don't know, EA's E3, if you will, where they show all their EA games. You're going to see some gameplay for that. Now, I got to ask you guys something around the horn here about this game before we go and tease a couple reveals coming up on the podcast later on. Corey, this game has a bunch of different ships. We see that in the trailer. We got confirmed at least an X-Wing, an A-Wing, a U-Wing, and a Y-Wing. No B-Wings yet.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to play as when we squad up?
I don't know. I think I have to see more what the gameplay is like to say that. I'm a pretty classic guy, though. I like the X-wing. I've always been a big X-wing person, so I don't know. We'll see.
All right, Charles, what do you got? What do you think?
I think I'd probably go X-wing to maybe Y-wing. No, I'll go Y-wing. I feel like you guys are going to need some support from some heavy artillery. I'm going to pull a Nath Tencent.
All right. You mean we're going to go do some crazy maneuvers that we don't think through and then need you to bail us out?
Yes, that is precisely
absolutely.
what I mean.
Great. Going on, Wes, what do you think you're going to be flying there yourself?
I'd like to hit up an A-wing. A-wings are versatile, and having put out that tweet today, that's all I was thinking about was the A-wings from Empire.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna jump on that as well. I'm gonna be I want to zoom around in an A-wing. I want to go crazy, get my Will Lark going on, which means that then our fifth we need a U-wing. So
that's right.
Whoever's playing with us is gonna have to rock that out. Be the Kairos of the squad.
What do you guys before we change gears too much from Squadrons here, what do you guys think about the release date, October 2nd? So first of all, how the heck do they keep this thing under wraps? Like, that is really impressive. Second of all, like, this is being released not on the new consoles. I mean, it's going to be released on the new consoles, obviously, but they're not waiting for the new console to be released before they're releasing this game, which is very interesting. That this is not going to be like a headlining like new generation console game. I'm very curious about that decision. You guys have any thoughts there?
I'm interested by the choice. I like the idea of it starting at current console. I assume it would be part of the smart delivery system. At least on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, they've had that with Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where like you buy it on Xbox One, and then if you get the new console, it'll just automatically give you the newer version, which I think is cool. I think that's a way to do it. I also think it's a way for them to capitalize on a bigger player base, because even though a lot of us in the community have talked about getting these new consoles day one, a lot of people won't. So they're like, you know what? Let's maximize how many copies we can sell at the holiday season. But I do agree that it's interesting that it's not a launch title, but I think that might be because of the smaller scope. Again, having it be $40, having it be mainly a multiplayer thing. Maybe they're saving like their next giant Fallen Order game.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Charles, what do you think?
That's what I was wondering too.
I don't know, man. I don't pay too much attention to this stuff, to be honest with you. I just am excited to play the game. I don't care what console it's on. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna love it.
Bam! I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna love it. That's the new Utini gaming shirt. There we go. Now we teased a couple things 5 minutes ago when I said we're teasing things. Coming up on the podcast, we got some pretty cool things. First of all, for all you talking live with us tonight, again, hello, love you all. Next week on the show, we are going to have an experiment of sorts, which is a live show with a guest. This has been done since like the 50s on television, but it's the first time we're doing it on Twitch with Utini. We're going to be welcoming on Stephen Kent from the Beltway Banthas podcast. He has a fantastic podcast where he talks about politics and Star Wars, how they work in the modern day, how it works in the books and the movies and everything. We thought it was a pretty relevant time to talk about some politics in Star Wars, both with Queen's Peril and, you know, the world as it is. So I'm really excited to try that out next week, guys. What do you think about our first guest live?
I'm really excited by that. Obviously, I'm kind of obsessed with this technological. What do they call the Death Star in Episode 4? This technological terror you've constructed. That's how that's how I feel about this insane technical setup that we have built here. So I'm excited to have somebody come on and like, man, the live show is so much fun. I love seeing the comments come in. I love hanging out with our community. You know, it feels like we're running a like a late night television show in a lot of ways. So I'm really excited to have somebody on to talk about some stuff like that. I'm really interested actually in the expanded universe. Like, we've already kind of teased that we're gonna maybe dive into Tarkin a little bit, which is one of my favorite kind of EU books that we've not really talked much about at all in the show. So I'm excited.
Who wrote that? Who wrote that book?
James Luceno.
Ooh,
my boy.
Are we sure that it wasn't Paul S. Kemp? Are we sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But now I'm doubting myself. No, it's definitely Luceno.
Oh, see, we knew it was a choice. We just love to see the doubt on your face. It's like a nectar. I drink it in.
That's right.
But yes, that will be next week. And then recently we had E.K. Johnston on the show. I got the pleasure of interviewing her about Queen's Peril. And June has another book release, and it's Shadowfall by Alexander Freed. And we were talking, and we said, it wouldn't make sense just to interview one author in June for their book. So Corey and I had the pleasure of having light schedules and also being able to interview Alexander Freed.
Yes.
We talked to him this past weekend, and that interview was a ton of fun, and it'll be released day of Shadowfall release. Corey, how was that interview for you?
That was
Tease people a little bit.
That was a ton of fun. So we've had a number of authors on our show. Alexander Freed is certainly one of the more sort of heady, technical writers, I think. Like, it was funny. We asked him a lot about that, and you'll hear all this about when the show finally comes out. But we asked him all about how he's kind of looked at as one of the more technical writers, and he was like, "Oh, really? Am I? I didn't really see it that way." And it was so interesting. But yeah, we had a blast interviewing. I actually got Shadowfall today. Eric, you don't have your copy yet, right?
It will arrive during the show, and I guarantee my
Nice.
dog will bark his head off when the
Yes.
apartment buzzes.
Yeah, super excited to dive into this. The cover is beautiful, guys.
Oh,
Like,
it's
seriously,
gorgeous.
it's
I
super
love
great. And also,
that.
look how big it is. It's massive. Like, this book is like, it's a lot. It feels like it's bigger than Alphabet Squadron. Maybe it's, I don't know if it is or not, but it feels like it is. And I'm excited to dive into this. I'm excited to dive in to that interview with Freed and share that with you guys. He was a lot of fun to have on the show. He's a brilliant writer. I have some theories. They haven't released any information yet. I have some theories. He might be involved in this game, maybe, perhaps. He didn't tell us anything about that, and obviously he can't tell us things about that because we interviewed him before they announced the game, right? So he was really tight-lipped about that sort of thing. But he's got a lot of experience with video games, which we dived into a lot, and I think he probably has something to do with Squadrons. I would be surprised if he didn't, given how he's become sort of the space battle writer right now in Star Wars. Like, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's possible. I know they announced a couple writers today. Mitch Dwyer, I believe, who wrote part of the Battlefront 2 campaign, wrote on it. And there's some other people that wrote on it. But I think we'll find out that he at least, consulted.
Yeah.
He seems to consult.
We talked to him about what are those things called, Eric? Game barks?
Combat barks.
Combat
That's a
barks.
tease of a question we asked him. And you know what? You're going to have to listen to the rest of the interview to find out what combat barks are. But he wrote those for Battlefront 2, and it was pretty cool to get into some of the technical gaming stuff because we never had a writer that knows that much about video games. So that was pretty cool. So a heads up, that is coming. Next week is Beltway Banthas. The week after that, I believe, guys, my math is right on this, is our first part of our Queen's Peril Roundtable. So, Charles, just to let the chill go up your spine a little bit.
It's, don't let me fool you by the fact that it's sitting right here next to me. I am still on like chapter 8. Not because it's not fun, not because I'm not enjoying it. Just been a little busy, guys. But we will get done. We're going to have an awesome roundtable. I'm looking forward to it.
Cannot wait. Very excited. Then speaking of the future of this show, wow, we have a lot of announcements this show, but I'm pretty happy about it. Going forward, we have been talking a lot amongst ourselves about more content we can create. Recently, our Bounty Hunt podcast got put on hiatus due to the fact that there was no more episodes of The Mandalorian, no more episodes of The Clone Wars coming out. So we kept thinking, like, we want to re-up that or do something else. So we naturally came up with 2 more podcasts that we're going to be creating that are in development at the point. The first is tentatively called Kanja Book Club. This is
Never made a deal with Kanja Club.
Exactly. I never made a deal with Kanja Book Club. This is going to be exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be an official Utini book club. Our Discord has tried to run this privately for a while, has been creating kind of their own unofficial book club, and we decided, hey, let's make it an actual really fun show. Joxy, who's in the chat with us right now, was very much a part of bringing this together, bringing this idea to the forefront, and more details to come as it develops. But that show will be coming out where it's going to be basically, reading a book together. So mini round tables-ish each week, talking about a few chapters at a time. Very excited for that. And then the next one is going to be replacing Bounty Hunt during its hiatus. Bounty Hunt will be returning when Mandalorian Season 2 comes back for sure and things like that. But Corey, Charles, and I thought of another really stupid thing that we could do that would be a lot of fun. That was actually inspired by another show. Corey, what are we doing? What is this new show called, and what is it about?
So, thank you to Charles for coming up with this brilliant name after being sleep deprived, full of caffeine, and completing his shift. So, shout out to you, Charles, for coming up with this name. We're going to have a new show on Patreon at a pretty low level. I think we're going to do it. We're going to call it Lightspeed Skipping. So, we're going to get together once a week, super from the hip. We really need that, by the way, guys, as podcast hosts. We put so much work in the living force. Like, it's a lot of work to plan more than one podcast in a week. So we need something that's a little more from the hip that you can just kind of get together and do. And that's what this show is going to be. Lightspeed Skipping. We're going to get together once a week. We're going to pick a book at random, maybe with some kind of spin the wheel type of situation. We're going to spin the wheel again, pick a page number, and basically have a 20, 30-minute discussion on nothing but that exact single page. It's going to be a lot of fun. We picked this up from another podcast. I'm trying to remember who it is now.
This is from, shout out to Force Center. A lot of our listeners love that podcast. They're a phenomenal podcast. This is a bonus episode thing they do called Will of the Force, kind of inspired us about it. We added a little more randomness, a little more chaos into it to make it a little silly, make it a little more living force. But definitely a huge shout out to Force Center for the inspiration. If you're not listening to them already, you gotta go listen to them. And massive thank you to them for the inspiration. But yeah, we're excited to maybe grab some books we've never read before, because what's more fun than the three of us trying to figure out what the heck is going on in a book?
Yes.
So that'll be very silly. Look on your Patreon feeds for that coming soon. And today you can look on your Patreon feed because we got a brand new Legends Look Back drop today. I listened to it while I was working from home. It's all about Tales of the Jedi. Some wild legends as have never legend before. Jared and Freddie talked about that. All the parts of Tales of the Jedi. So definitely check that out. And coming up soon, speaking of our pilot episode, they're going to be going back to the X-Wing series. So listen to Tales of the Jedi. Listen to the end. They're going to tell you the next book they're going to, the second book in the X-Wing series. Can't freaking wait to see more Wedge on that show. And a little more Corran Horn, of course, who I think we've mentioned more in this episode than we ever have.
Why? Why so much Corran Horn?
I like that Wes preemptively went to Corey to get that reaction shot. It was everything I expected.
That was perfect. And finally, Charlie and I are continuing to release episodes of the Ghost Crew every single Wednesday, talking about Star Wars Rebels. We're about halfway through the first season at this point. Really freaking loving it. Yeah, they're still going at the Inquisitorious level. You can get those as you need. All those shows are coming out of our Utini Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Utini, and this regular show is going to keep coming as normal at anywhere you can get your podcasts. All right, guys, we're a book podcast. Book news. We kind of had some huge news this week, did we not?
Yeah, we
It's
did.
a new book. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
One of the biggest projects ever. These sort of collaborations seem to be like a ton of work by everybody that works on them, but we keep hearing really positive things about them. This is from a certain point of view. Is that what's it called? From a certain point of view, the Empire
Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes. Okay, yeah, right. So this is another big. They got together 40 authors to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Empire. And every author wrote a short story. It's very similar to the original From a Certain Point of View book, which was insanely popular. Has a lot of some stories are amazing. Some of them are not that great. So it's a really interesting kind of mix of different stuff. And also, what gets me most excited about this project is that like a lot of these sort of big name mainline writers right now, they came out of that From a Certain Point of View book, right? So,
yeah.
That was sort of their first foray into Star Wars. So maybe we'll get a bunch of big, awesome new writers from that book, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, and it was really cool. Like last week, we highlighted a lot of authors of color, a lot of Black authors we want to see in Star Wars. We lamented the fact that Star Wars has never been so good about this. And right when this announcement came out, oh my God, there were so many women of color. There were so many writers of color we had never seen in Star Wars before that have been given the reins to write their stories in Star Wars. And it was so just freaking awesome to be on Twitter when it got announced because everyone was so excited. Everyone was so stoked. And if you go over to StarWars.com right now, there is the full list of all the authors that are going to be on it on a single article. I just want to highlight 6 of them at this moment because 6 stories got announced, right? We find out that a lot of the authors, you'll hear this in the Alexander Freed interview a little bit, a lot of the authors basically had to race to pick a character. Like there's no real assignment of character in these books. You got to kind of call dibs. And 6 authors and their stories got revealed on StarWars.com, and they are the following. Austin Walker was an author, and he says he explores the unlikely partnership of bounty hunters Dengar and IG-88 as they pursue Han Solo. Hank Green, noted YouTuber and author himself, chronicles the life of a naturalist caring for tauntauns on the frozen world of Hoth. Tracy Dion delves into the dark heart of the Dagobah cave where Luke confronts a terrifying vision. Martha Wells reveals the world of the Ugnaught clans who dwell in the depths of Cloud City. Mark Oshiro recounts the Wampa's tragic tale of loss and survival. And Seth Dickinson interrogates the costs of serving a ruthless empire aboard the bridge of a doomed Imperial starship. And that's just the first few. 40 of these guys are coming in November. Pre-order is available now at utini.com. We kind of guessed it was coming, right? But to have it confirmed is still just huge. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think there's been rumors of this for so long, like almost since From a Certain Point of View came out. It's just like, when is the next one happening? When is the next one happening? But this just feels like such an event. You know, we're already talking earlier in this episode how Celebration is canceled, but we still have a whole lot to celebrate and a whole lot to look forward to, especially those of us who are so much a part of the literary side of Star Wars. This is an exciting time for us still. Don't let everything else get you down. We got a lot coming.
Without question. And on that note, Charles, speaking of that excitement, we had those 6 stories are confirmed. What story that hasn't been announced yet has you most excited for its possible inclusion in this 40 author bonanza?
I need a Lobot story.
Yeah. Do you want from his point of view, like inside his head?
Yes. I don't know how that's going to look exactly, but Lobot has always fascinated me. I don't know why. And there's even some really cool stuff with Lobot in the recent Star Wars mainline comics, if you go back and read some of those. But yeah, what is up with that guy? His name is almost Robot, and there are not robots in Star Wars because they're droids. What is going on there?
Love that. Can't wait. He's got to be in there. Corey, what about you?
I would really like to get inside of Yoda's head a little bit. Like all the stuff that happens with Yoda and Luke on Dagobah is some of my favorite content in all of Star Wars, period. Absolutely my favorite scenes in Empire Strikes Back. So I would really like to see what was he thinking? Did he sense that he was coming? Like, how did that play out where he knew Luke was there, and how did Luke end up? Like, maybe this will never be explained, but from a certain point of view, the original explained a lot of quote unquote plot holes of the first one. Like, so there's always the issue of like whenever somebody crash lands on a planet in Star Wars, they just always happen to be within like 5 miles of where they need to be, right?
Right.
So like maybe there's
on
a reason.
Planet.
Yes, on a planet. Maybe there's a reason for that with Yoda in Dagobah. So I'm really excited. I imagine that will probably be included. I would be surprised if it wasn't. Like that type of stuff is absolutely what was covered in the first one. So.
Totally. Before we get to Wes, Boski in the chat says, I want to see Dax morning before the battle. How did he come to the point of thinking he could take on the Empire all by himself?
Yes.
That is a weird line, isn't it? I guess, now that I think about it.
It is. It was mentioned somewhere else in Alphabet Squadron or
somewhere like that.
Somewhere else recently. I can't remember where that line was mentioned from. Or maybe it was Resistance Reborn. I can't
one of those
remember.
books.
Yeah,
one of those really
Dak
great
was
novels.
specifically brought up. I can't remember which one it was.
Wes, what about you? What's the number one that you are just dying for?
We gotta find out what Wilro Hood is thinking as he's
it.
running through Cloud City. What the hell is he thinking as he's running with that thing? We gotta get that story. Carl's gotta know too.
That has been retconned in some ways, right? Like haven't they not retconned, but haven't they said it's like a safe? No. It was in Mandalorian. It looked just like
the katana or whatever. Yeah.
So
why?
What's in his safe? I hope they explain what's in that dang safe. Like it's probably something stupid. Like
okay.
Like ice cream. Yeah, there's ice cream in that thing.
Oh my god.
All right, so I'm gonna think of a new one on the spot, Wes.
On your
100%
face.
was mine as well. You know what I want? I want to see Vader arrive at Cloud City right before they get there. I want to see
Ooh.
Vader
Ooh,
get
okay.
Lando and give him the deal.
I speaking of that, I saw a good one on Twitter that was pretty funny. Like, what about the staff that like set up the dinner for Darth Vader? And like somebody like was that like stormtroopers? Like, I'm just picturing a bunch of stormtroopers like laying out this table
It's
like
a full meal, yeah.
like
What do you think that like Vader and Boba were doing before that door opened? You think they were just sitting there like chatting about life, and then Vader was like, "Hold on, I think I hear someone coming."
yeah. Boba's like, this is great, my lord. We're just gonna get them so good. This is gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, he's like, they're gonna look so dumb. Oh my god! And he's try not to laugh, and they're like, be cool, be cool, be cool.
That
be
is
cool,
it.
be cool.
That is one of the best Robot Chicken skits. Like where they have the dinner and they're all sitting there having the dinner together. That's fantastic. I love that.
Well, we're gonna see that, and we're gonna see way more in that book when it comes out in November. Again, pre-orders are live. A couple other book shout-outs. Queen's Peril, again, which we're going to be talking about in a couple of weeks. And a lot of you have already read. We have a very active Discord channel about Queen's Peril itself if you want to talk about it. Guys, it's a New York Times bestseller.
Congratulations.
Number 5 young adult on New York Times.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations to E.K. Johnson. She deserves it so much. Like, you know, it's so funny that Queen Shadow originally kind of started off in kind of in a rough place for us originally, and like, man, I feel like the person matters so much. This is why we're always preaching like positivity, is because like if you really embrace this entire culture, if you embrace the authors, if you embrace their personal lives, if you embrace like just like kind of getting to know all the authors individually, it makes you appreciate their art form so much more. And E.K. Johnson is such an incredible person. The interview we did with her was awesome. Like, I'm so proud of that. Like, New York Times bestseller. Not a lot of Star Wars books end up there, but not all of them do. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
And it also is great because in our interview with her, she did say, like, I asked her, why, how did Queen's Peril come about? And she said people bought Queen Shadow.
Yeah.
Like, as blunt as that is. So well done. Get that on the New York Times at number 5, not at like number 30 something. Like, it's the 5th in the country.
Yeah.
That speaks very well, I'd say, to maybe another Queen's something book. Maybe Queen's Legacy. That'd be my pitch for the 3rd one. But well done, everyone. And if you haven't picked that up, you still can. A couple shout outs for the books coming out soon. Again, we have Shadowfall that is being released June 23rd. Dr. Aphra audio drama July 21st. Star Wars Dark Legends July 28th. Poe Dameron Freefall August 4th. Clone Wars Stories of Light and Dark August 25th. And Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising September 1st.
That's right.
So
that's right. If you don't have these books already, you got to make sure you pre-order them. Head over to utini.com. We have a release schedule. Check that out and grab those books and support the show.
Absolutely. And as a reminder, anything that you buy through Utini's affiliates through the month of June, we are donating every little bit of kickback to Black Lives Matter for the month of June. We feel very strongly about this. We talked a lot on last week's show. Legends Look Back talked about it this week as well. We want to support as best we can. So if there's a couple things in your library you've been meaning to pick up and you want to help out a really great cause, this is the month to do it. Also, if you don't want to help us out, that's totally fine. You can also go to bookshop.org to find local Black-owned bookshops to help more directly to help out there in the indie scene. And if you want to help out this podcast, despite everything I just said, head over to patreon.com/Utini. We're giving you shows. We're giving you love. We're giving you everything we got, including our blood, sweat, and tears. Last thing before we take a rather later break, because, guys, I just love talking to you today. I missed you this week, I think is what it comes down to.
A big week. We had a lot of news this week, man.
We did. This is the point in the show we usually talk about a book review. We usually talk about 3 book reviews on utini.com. We've gotten a ton this week. They've been phenomenal. I've loved them. But we got one thing this week that hit us all in a bigger way. On our Discord channel, we have an introductions tab where new people to the Discord can go. You can say who you are, why you love Star Wars, why you're in the community. And it's really lovely. And we got a really long one this week from a guy named Andy, who became a patron recently. And I just wanted to read it because it was really kind of why we do what we do at Utini, and it really made us feel amazing, and we want to give a huge shout out to him. So here's what he said. He said, Hi, I just thought I would try and introduce myself here. I'm a proper middle-aged social media dinosaur. I'm not on Facegram or Instabook or anything like that. This is my first foray into social media. Here we go. Being born in 1974, I literally grew up with the original trilogy films and action figures, but only started reading Star Wars books in the last few years. I started with the Darth Bane trilogy, and what a great place to start. I was hooked. By the way, Corey may be pleased to hear I played KOTOR back in the early 2000s and loved it.
I was pleased to hear that.
Right? Which is part of the reason I chose a Star Wars story from thousands of years ago to start my reading. As I started looking into the world of Star Wars books, I found it all a bit overwhelming. So many books, where do I start? I can't read all of them at once. I just sort of dipped in at random for a while until I found the Living Forest podcast, and from there, the Utini website. What a game changer. I've now read the Foundational 5, and I can see why you suggest them as starting points. Special mention to the Revenge of the Sith novelization, as without your recommendation, I would not have read a film novelization at all, but you were right. It does add so much to the film. You get a real feeling of almost Greek tragedy about the story of Anakin and Vader, and that coupled with reading Kenobi straight afterward gives you such a depth to Obi-Wan's character. I could talk for hours about it. I love the reading list you compiled. What a great way to approach things. There's still so much to read, but your work has provided some paths through the forest, so thank you. I did also want to say how much I enjoy the podcast. I love the positive and constructive way you approach things. I, like you, watch and read Star Wars to enjoy it because I love it. So it's great to have found a like-minded community that looks for the joy in things and offers constructive criticism. I also enjoyed my little mention in the last episode as a new Patreon member. Well, here's a bigger one for you, man. Eric, just for the record, you pronounced my name exactly right first try, but I did enjoy your alternate pronunciations. Very glad about that. Well, I've rambled on for far too long, but I'm sure I'm looking forward to getting more involved in the community. I live in England, so unfortunately I'm a bit out of sync and probably won't be able to join in live Discord during the podcast, which is a shame, but I'll do my best to stay involved. Cheers, Andy. Well, Andy, cheers to you, man. That's why we do it. You know? This is why we do what we do.
It is. We talked about this a little bit before the show started. Like, Andy, you pretty much hit like the exact way. Like, we built Utini and we built the website and we built all these guides and the Foundational 5 and all this stuff using all of this expertise we have by having read all of these Star Wars books. And like, you went through the pathway like exactly how we designed it. Like, it was awesome. And like, it sounds like you got exactly out of it what you were supposed to get out of it. And I'm so pleased to hear that. So we figured we would give you a shout out on the show this week rather than going into a bunch of book reviews. So, man, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a positive member of this community. It's always awesome to get new folks in. And, you know, if you're out there and you haven't joined our Discord yet, now is your time. You know, jump in, say hello, and, you know, be like Andy.
Be like Andy. Absolutely. And speaking of people in our Discord and our Twitch, a couple comments here. I want to back up the fact that we were just talking about Dak, wondering where he's mentioned. It's Lost Stars. Thank you to Juliana. Thank you to Cheryl. That was it. It was Lost Stars. Where we talked
that is
about
right.
Dak.
Because Thane is like, why does this guy keep talking about Luke Skywalker? That guy totally sucks.
Absolutely. You know what? And speaking of people that suck, that's actually not at all what we're talking about, but I needed to transition. Guys, let's talk about some pilots. We're going to skip our break this week. We're trying a new format. Corey just typed it in the outline, and I'm going with it. I feel good.
Guys,
I don't wanna
he
lie to
has
you guys.
altered the outline, Eric. Pray he doesn't alter it any further.
I'm just going to start deleting stuff while you're talking it actively, like while you're reading it.
I swear to God, this should have been view only for you. But anyway, y'all, we want to talk about pilots because this is seeming to be the time of year we're going into pilot frenzy. Again, with Shadowfall coming out, with Poe Dameron Freefall coming out, with Star Wars Squadrons coming out, we are all about the freaking pilots lately. Guys, why are pilots so damn popular? I mean, all of our protagonists in the trilogies are basically pilots. Anakin, Luke, Han, Rey, Poe. It's flying. Why is that such a thing in Star Wars?
I don't really know. I mean, I think it kind of goes back to that, like, to the entire premise of Top Gun, right? It's just It's a bunch of hotshot dudes that are like you have to be kind of an elite individual to end up being a pilot because, like, you know, you're flying a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, right? That's very complex to fly at incredibly high rates of speed. Like, there's a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Adventurous, like scoundrel nature, I think, to being a pilot. So I don't know. It's just I think it's in a I think it's an attractive, adventurous lifestyle, I suppose.
I like where you're going at the end there. I don't know if I like Star Wars because Top Gun, but
Yeah. The beginning sucked, but the end was great, Corey.
but no, really though, I think it comes down to the exploration. Like we love Star Wars. One of the main reasons we love it is because it's escapism. It's learning about the unknown. And when we think about space, we think about flying off from this planet in a space shuttle, multiply that times 1,000,000, and that's what Star Wars is. You're hopping in an X-Wing and you can go anywhere you want. We're not going to the moon, guys. We're going to freaking Tatooine. You know what I mean? Like, that is the appeal, I think. It's just it's the opportunity to see and experience anything.
Yeah, I mean, as Jack Sparrow said in Pirates of the Caribbean, what a ship is freedom. I just watched that the other night. That movie still rocks. Looking at our chat, there's a bunch of agreement here. Hunter Ronan on Facebook saying it's freedom, man. Cheryl and Joxy saying your protagonist can go a bunch of places. You can fly to get anywhere. And of course, Jared Mays on YouTube saying, I hope Squadrons has a shirtless volleyball mode. Is that a skin? Can I pre-order to get that exclusively?
That's a literal skin.
Yeah, it's the shirts and skins of the Empire and the New Republic.
Oh my gosh. There's a rant by Quentin Tarantino in a movie about Top Gun that I saw on Reddit this week that was absolutely incredible. I have no idea what movie it is. I'm gonna find it and put it in Discord because it's so fun. I won't do it justice if I try to explain it, so I'll find it.
Well, awesome. Well, what I want to do now is speaking of these awesome semi-shirtless pilots, I suppose, is to do a couple lightning round ideas to kind of talk about some of our favorite pilots in honor of the future content we're getting. So, guys, we're going to go around the horn lightning round style. One of my favorite things, one of Corey's most hated things.
Panic.
So we're going to start with Wes. Who is your favorite pilot in the prequels? Just the prequels.
Okay. Favorite pilot in the prequels would have to be Darth Maul. Darth Maul's my favorite pilot because I knew y'all wouldn't pick him.
Done. Charles, what do you got?
My favorite pilot in the prequels is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, wow. Watch right into that one.
Interesting choice.
Corey, what do you got?
I'm going classic here, man. Anakin is the best pilot maybe ever in Star Wars, so I am totally behind Anakin there.
All right, very possible. I'm gonna go with Jedi Master Plo Koon.
Strong choice.
That's right. One of the OG all-time great pilots. Let's go original trilogy. Corey.
Oh, Porkins, baby, so easy.
Oh my God. For those of y'all that don't remember, Corey put Porkins in his squad that he built himself back in
team,
episode
baby.
10.
My dream team.
Oh
the
my
Porkins,
God, I'm still mad about that.
Porkins dream team, man. We need to put that on a shirt. All right, Jose, that's the new shirt. We got to do that. Porkins dream team. 100%.
All right, great. Charles, what about you? You can't
I don't know.
choose Porkins, I'm sorry.
Maybe a little guy named Han Solo.
All right, fair enough. Wes, what do you got?
Probably gonna piggyback and say Lando Calrissian.
Damn good, absolutely fantastic. Part of me wants to say Chewbacca. Part of me wants to say Luke. I'm gonna go Wedge. I'm gonna go Wedge Antilles, Hero of the Rebellion.
Antilles, yeah. Good
Freaking
choices.
love him.
Good choices. We need to include legends. Juliana says we need to include legends.
Oh, we're getting there. It's on the outline. Corey doesn't know what's coming, but I do.
There it is, right there. I see it. I see it on the outline. First time I've read it, guys. There it is.
Charles starts off sequel trilogy pilots.
Oh, sequels. I mean, I'm gonna not go with the obvious choices. You know what I'm gonna say?
What are you gonna say?
Sienna Rhee. I'm counting her as sequels because she was around.
Okay. All right, I'll take that. Wes, how about you?
Well, I'm gonna go opposite, and I'm gonna say Rey because Rey is probably the best character in Star Wars, and you can debate me on it, and I'll probably lose because y'all know more than I do. But whatever, let's talk about it.
Love that. Phenomenal pilot, phenomenal character. Corey, what about you?
I know I keep throwing out classic folks, but I absolutely love Poe Dameron, man. That scene in Force Awakens where he's flying around, he kills 11 TIE pilots, and Finn's like, that's one hell of a pilot. I love that scene. That is one of my favorites in Force Awakens. So absolutely,
one of the most joyous scenes ever, without question.
Yes.
I'm gonna go. I'll go Snap Wexley then. I love Snap
Oh
Wesley.
yeah, Snap is cool.
Especially as a fan of the Aftermath books. If you haven't read the Aftermath trilogy, Snap or Temin Wexley, as he said in that book, another phenomenal pilot, but all great ones. Now, what Charles, I was gonna go here. So let's go
What
canon.
have I done?
Just new canon pilots that are only found in canon books. Corey.
Well, I
only
was
canon books.
certainly not going to say Sienna Ree.
Now you can.
Certainly not going to say her. I mean, well, there's a lot of good options in canon. We have a lot of great options in Alphabet Squadron. We have a lot of great options in Lost Stars. I mean, I'll go classic like Thane Kyrell. I really enjoyed hearing him talk about flying like TIE fighters and stuff. It was pretty good.
Absolutely. He can do both. Get you a man who can do both. TIE fighters and X-Wings. Charles, what about you?
Oh man, well, see, I messed up already by picking Sienna, so I'm gonna go with Kairos.
Kairos.
That's how can I not?
Man, yeah. I will say nothing else because I've read Shadowfall. Well, Wes, how about you?
God.
I mean, he's not actually a pilot, but he's on the ship. What about Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Okay.
That's
acceptable for sure.
Yeah,
I think
he's
so.
flown things. I get that. I'm gonna do exactly what Juliana says I was gonna do. It's Will Lark. He's my boy. Best pilot, without question in canon for me. Honorable mention though, as a bunch are saying in the chat, Harrison Dula. I should have made an animation category. I did not. But Hera's also amazing. Legends only, guys. Now let's Jared. Fine. Okay. We're doing it. Legends only pilots. Corey, what do you think?
Not Corran Horn. That's my answer.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone else but Corran Horn, you mean? That's it.
Yes.
Anyone else can join?
100%.
All right, great. Charles?
This one is genuinely very difficult because I'm a big fan of the X-Wing series. I want to say like maybe even Oral Krieg. I think that Jared is gonna love that one.
Oral Krieg.
He was a Gand. He was just a super cool character, man. He was part of the squadron in that series.
I haven't looked this
all
up
of them are
right
great,
now.
Including Corran Horn. Sorry, Corey. Wedge is great. Tycho Selchuk.
You get one. You get one.
I'm sorry. I chose Oral. I chose Oral.
Wes, go ahead. What do you think?
I haven't read the most of the Legends books like y'all have, but I want to say Darth Zana.
Ooh,
Vane
that's a
trilogy.
great choice.
Is a good choice. Very good choice.
That is a great choice. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Jaina Solo.
You have to.
Phenomenal pilot. But I want to give it to Dash Rendar.
Ooh.
Purely because he flies the same model of Corellian freighter that I flew in our Star Wars RPG.
That's right.
That the Molitor was based off of. That's it. It was based off of the Outrider, the YT-2400. So Dash Rendar, well done. But there's also a lot of great freaking pilots in the X-Wing books, which are coming soon on Legends Look Back. See how I did that? That was so seamless. That was amazing. God, I'm good at this. Guys, next one. Finally, I was going to have to do an Alphabet Squadron only one, but we've already said 2 members of Alphabet Squadron, so I think that makes it kind of hard.
Yeah, it does.
So I'll just say this. Charles, is Kairos still, after all this time, your favorite member of Alphabet Squadron?
Well, yes, but I have not read Shadowfall yet. So now you've got me scared. I mean, I'm over here. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I'm freaking out.
All right. Hey, you know what? Fear is the path to the dark side, so rein that in. Wes, who's your favorite member of Alphabet Squadron specifically?
Specifically is Kairos, because she was so mysterious. And we don't know much about her, right? I mean,
yes.
Yet.
Yeah, hey, there's 3 books. Who's to say? Corey, what about you? Favorite Alphabet Squadron member?
I like Nath a lot. Nath is pretty cool. He's got a pretty checkered past, and I like it. I'm excited to see how his character is developed.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. And I'm gonna double down on Will Lark. I do love Erica as well. Her whole point as the protagonist, I think, is really good. I think she could easily fall into the background if she wanted to, if the writing wasn't as good. But she's just a fascinating character. Her discussions with ITO and Alpha Squadron are also so fascinating, but Will Arc does have my heart. All right, folks. Now you ask yourself, all right, man, I do love pilots. These guys had great answers. I love flying. I want Star Wars Squadrons, but you know what I want to do instead? Read a book. So luckily at utini.com, we have reading collections for you for that very, very purpose. We have 2 collections we're going to talk about today, our pilots collection and our military collection, because I found they interspersed just a bit. So on that note, Charles, would you be so kind as to start off this little section by telling folks what the first book in our pilots collection is they could read?
Yes. So the first book in the Pilots collection, I think we've talked about rather extensively, even though we didn't remember earlier a little reference that came from it, but it's Lost Stars, guys. Classic Claudia Gray. It's all about 2 young kids who grow up and become pilots and have a little bit of a disagreement along the way. Let's just leave it at that.
Absolutely. Wes, take it away for our second book on the list there.
Second book, Solo, a Star Wars story by Mur Lafferty.
Yes, that is her name. Yeah, that book freaking rocks. One of the best novelizations we've gotten in a long time. And I mean, Han Solo, pilot.
Yeah.
You gotta.
See, I still have it on the shelf. Haven't read it yet.
Damn it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Corey, number 3.
Number 3 is the Poe Dameron comic, specifically the first volume of the trade paperback, the graphic novel, which collects, I think, the first 6 issues of the comic. Yeah, the Poe Dameron comic is super good. It goes into sort of the Lor San Tekka background. There's a lot of really great, cool stuff in the Poe Dameron comic, and strong work. One of the best comics, and I think it's part of our Getting Started with Star Wars Comics guide. I'm pretty sure.
I believe it is, yeah. And that's written by Charles Soule, drawn by a bunch of artists, including Phil Noto, Angel Unzueta. Very phenomenal work by them as well.
The entire rest of the Poe Dameron series is all in this collection as well. We might as well go ahead and mention that. That there's a good number of comics. I forget how many there are, but there are 4 volumes of the trade paperbacks. Interestingly enough, it is one of the only canon Star Wars comics to not be recollected in a hardcover omnibus for some reason. We have no idea why that is the case, but you can't get it in a hardcover form for some reason.
I think it's clear. I think Disney clearly hates Poe Dameron.
I think so.
Read through the lines, sheeple. Wake up. I almost got through it. I almost got through it with a straight face. The next book on that list is a classic book. We've mentioned it already. X-Wing Rogue Squadron, the first book in the X-Wing series by Michael Stackpole, a classic Legends novel. If you want pilots, this is where you go. We have a couple, I think the first 3 books in the series there, but I just wanted to highlight the first one. It's about pilots. It's about them, flying X-Wings, doing missions. It's simple. Go read it if you love pilots.
It's a longer series. How many books are in it? 9 books or something like that? 7 books, Charles? You're not finished with it, I don't think, yet, are you?
Oh, because it switches authors halfway through. Stackpole wrote the first half of it, and then it jumps forward in time a bit. And I think it's Aaron Alston writes the second half. So I've only read the Stackpole stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like 9 or 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the Squadrons, Charles, tell us about another Squadron book we could read right after that.
Might you be referring to Alphabet Squadron?
I might be.
Yeah, also sitting next to me, except I have finished that one and I loved it. And I cannot wait to read Shadowfall and see what in the world happened to Kairos, Eric. I can't get this out of my head.
I just love the little seeds I can plant, little seeds of doubt. And finally, to end that collection, I'm going to mention Cobalt Squadron by Elizabeth Wine, which is a story of Rose Tico and her sister Paige leading up to The Last Jedi, which is really cool. It's a quick read. It's fun. And it's all about them being Cobalt Squadron. I think Paige Tico's moments in The Last Jedi were some of the most interesting right at the top. I remember walking out of the theater and immediately wanting to know what was going on with that character. And this book gets you that. So all those books in that collection, which is up on the screen right now, you can go to utini.com/collections/pilots, and you can order them directly from there whenever you like. Now, going right from there into our next collection is going to be our military collection. This is at utini.com/collection/military. And start us off, Corey, I'm going to throw it to you with the first book that we have there starring a man we have just mentioned.
Yes, one of my personal favorite books, I think, in the like new canon stuff is Thrawn, right? Like it's the first of the Thrawn books. This is the when Timothy Zahn came back into canon. They invited him to do this. It's his Thrawn's origin story. If you haven't read it, it's absolutely fantastic. It's totally in my top 5, and like I really enjoyed the Thrawn book. Like. I think it's definitely by far and away the best of the series of the new canon first 3 Thrawn books. Big fan.
Absolutely excellent. Wes, what's the second book we're going to look there right now? By an author we've already mentioned.
Second one up is Battlefront Twilight Company by the recently interviewed from Utini, Alexander Freed. Haven't read that one, but I damn sure played the game.
Yes, this is the game, the book rather, that came out with the first Battlefront game. It was adjacent to it. We talked a lot with Alexander about how he wrote that, how he kind of made a book around a game that didn't really have a narrative. But this is the ground troops book is what I call it when I talk to people. These are boots on the ground, no force wielding, no crazy military like cohesion. It is a squad doing missions on the ground in the rebellion. Epic, kind of dirty, really good stuff. Charles, what's our next one?
Well, the next one would be the kind of sequel, Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. It's by Christy Golden. We have chatted about that book in roundtable format. Was that before we were even doing the official roundtables for the podcast?
I don't know if you can find those now.
Man, if you guys were around back then, God bless you. And thank you for still being here. Those were the early days. We still had our training wheels on, but I actually had a blast talking about that book. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Iden Versio is a phenomenal character. And if you want a little more background on what happened before the Battlefront 2 campaign, admittedly a little short, you can't go wrong there. Next book in that collection is Alphabet Squadron, but since we've already talked about that, I'm going to go right past that to the next book, which is Republic Commando Hard Contact by Karen Travis. This is one of the more heralded Legends series. We're talking Mandalorian lore. We're talking Clone Commandos. We're talking epic military Clone Wars era. This trilogy of the Republic Commandos is something that was talked about on the Legends Look Back as well. A little plug for that earlier this year. But you can't go wrong there if you want a little military action with those guys. And to round us off, I think that collection has a few more. Is a book called Allegiance by Timothy Zahn, which is a standalone Zahn book, which you don't get a whole lot. A lot of times he's in series formats, he's in trilogies. But this book gets you stormtroopers doing what they do, following orders, taking people down. Excuse me. And it's freaking great. We got a lot of military books from the good guys. Let's get some from the bad. And again, all these books can be found at utini.com/collection/military or utini.com/collection/pilots. Buy them in June. All those proceeds go towards Black Lives Matter, and you get to learn a little more about pilots and military. And looking in the chat here, Jared Mays, our Legends Look Back brother, says a shout out to Megan Andrew with those Republic Commando apps. So a few more UTE members. How freaking awesome is that? Love it. All right, folks. As we round out this episode about pilots, I thought it'd be fun. And this means that it's going to be something Corey doesn't like. I thought it'd be fun to look back a little bit, back to episode 10. Remember that, guys? Remember episode 10?
10. That was a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away. I was actually in Alabama, I think, for this one.
Alabama.
My gosh. Episode 10, we had our Starfighter Spectacular episode. And if you've listened since then, awesome. Thank you so much. We've changed quite a lot. If you haven't heard that one, go back and listen to that one after this episode. I'd be interested to see how it holds up. But on that episode, we came up with Starfighter Squadrons. The three of us got to make up our own squadrons. We got to have a leader. We had 4 other wings. And I thought it'd be fun to re-examine them a year later, almost to the day. This was June 27th, 2019, guys. I thought it'd be fun to re-examine these squads and see if we want to change anything. You get a mulligan if you so choose. So, Charles, if you'd be so kind, You made up Saber Squadron back in the day. Can you walk us through your squad and then say if you want to sub anyone out a year later?
All right. So we had some heated debates about this, guys.
That we did.
But I'm gonna tell you about my squad from the bottom up. So Saber 5 was Poe Dameron. I'm not taking him out. Corey was mad that I had him in the 5 slot, but he's staying. He is staying. Saber 4 is Kairos. I think I already made it clear we're a year out from whenever I made this squad, and I'm still really stoked about that character. So God, I hope that she does okay in Shadowfall, Eric. Saber 3 is Corin Horn. Sorry, Corey, not sorry. Saber 2 is Will Lark. I stand by that too, because he's a team player. He's someone who will be a fantastic leader, kind of as that I don't know, assistant to the regional manager. Let's call it that. And then Saber leader, I chose Wedge Antilles. You know what? Just to make myself and Jared and Freddie happy, I'm going to sub out Wedge Antilles and put in Oral Craig. No, I can't do that. Wedge is staying.
Oh my God.
Wedge is staying, but I'm a little sad. The first person that dies in my squadron, Oral's coming in.
Yeah, okay, great. He's on the bench. He's your 6th man.
He is 6 man.
All right. So we're locking in Saber Squadron. We're staying there. Corey, you had Victory Squadron.
I did have Victory
Walk us
Squadron.
through it.
Victory Squadron was originally Poe Dameron in the lead, Wedge Antilles, Luke Skywalker, Jaina Solo, and the fan favorite Porkins. And just because everybody hated it so much, I'm doubling down super hard, renaming the squadron Fat Boy Squadron. Porkins takes the lead. He is now the lead of Fat Boy Squadron, and everybody else can suck it. All right, that's that.
Awesome. So sorry, Cheryl, seeing on your list. She says if Porkins is still on Corey's list, not only is he on the list, he is the leader. He is the vision. He is
Vision.
T-shirt.
The Vision. 100%.
There's no one else on the squadron. It's just Porkins now.
In all 5 slots. He's cloned. The Emperor has cloned him, and that's...
All right. You know what? Fair enough. My Molitor Squadron, looking back, I'm going to do what Charles did, go from the bottom up. I had Luke Skywalker at 5, Will Lark at 4, Anakin at 3, Poe at 2, Harrison Dula at 1. You know, I like my list. But it's a new year.
Pretty strong squadron.
It's a strong squad, and I enjoy it. But just for the sake of variety, I feel like I want to shake it up a bit. I think I'm gonna take out Luke. I'm gonna take out Luke Skywalker. I know.
Choice.
I know. I'm gonna pull out Luke Skywalker, and I think I'm gonna put in Chasna Chaddock.
Interesting choice.
Just the chaotic energy, and to be clear, I am, for the sake of transparency, not taking Shadowfall into account, regardless of good or bad. Just for spoilers, this is Alphabet Squadron, Chasna Chaddock. I think she's good on a squad with this team. I think she's got the chaotic energy, but I think she follows orders really well. Luke is awesome. Let's be clear. I love Luke Skywalker. I'm not crazy. But I think it'd be fun. And maybe I'm also just in an Alphabet Squadron kind of mood, you know? So
guys, we had a poll for who had the best squadron after episode 10 aired.
Why did you remember that and we didn't, Charles?
It might have to do with the fact that I did not preemptively name myself Victory Squadron.
You did win that poll.
Fat Boy Squadron cannot lose, Charles. Cannot lose.
They also cannot fly.
That's the only difference. Well, you know what? Maybe what we'll have to do later on this year, maybe post Star Wars Squadrons coming out, we'll wait a little while. We'll learn a bit. We'll all read Shadowfall. Maybe we'll make some new ones later on in the year, because I know we had some folks in the chat now saying it was one of their favorite episodes. They really enjoyed it. So maybe we'll make some more squadrons, some more teams as time goes on. It's like a fantasy draft in Star Wars, which is a lot of fun to do. But all this to say, y'all, there are so many great pilots to read about in Legends. There are so many to read about in canon, and there are so many coming up this year. Again, the review copies of Shadowfall, Corey got his today. Mine is on its way, I think. And they should be arriving at your doorsteps. Oh my God, next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Better
Next
get
week.
those pre-orders in on utini.com.
Absolutely. So make sure you got that book pre-ordered. What I will say is you're gonna want to have it pre-ordered. That's what I'll say for my having read it. It's a phenomenal addition to the series. We can't wait to have a roundtable about that after we have a roundtable about Queen's Peril in 2 weeks. And as a final reminder, next week, Monday night, we're going to be going live with Steven from Beltway Banthas to talk about some politics and Star Wars. That'll get us right into our Queen's Peril roundtable. But thank you guys for hanging out. As always, this is one of our favorite times of the week. Thanks for listening to the new news, our new shows we got coming up. We're going to keep you posted on all of that. And as always, keep your eyes peeled on utini.com. There's been some design changes the last couple of weeks as well. Corey, anytime he has off, he's fiddling around in the web flow. So stuff's moving around. New articles are popping up. Our very own Meg Dowell, I wanted to give a shout out to as well.
I'm fiddling.
You are fiddling. Our very own Meg Dowell has recently taken over, taking all the amazing pictures that are going to be coming up on Utini for reviews and things like that. And she is also head of the news that's going to be coming out. So any breaking publishing news, Meg is in charge of. She's got an amazing article right now about From a Certain Point of View, Empire Strikes Back. So be sure to keep your eyes on Utini. We got everything you need. But my friends, my enemies, that'll do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you are an Inquisitor tier or up, head over to Patreon right now to join us for Aftermath. If you're already on Patreon, now is the time to upgrade. If you're not yet an Inquisitor or up, you do have time to make it into our live Aftermath after show where we talk Star Wars and hang out every week on our live show. That's actually where we came up with Kendra Book Club last week, so they got a little tease. A special thank you to Cheryl Bell, Drew Ibarano, and Patrick Ortiz on our Jedi High Council, and Ross Orlando on our Alliance High Command for their amazing support. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Eric Eilerson. Corey is at Doc Star Wars MD. Charles is at C. Henkel. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thanks to Corey, Charles, and Wes for podcasting with me. And as always, may the Force be with you.